Welcome to the Lorehounds, your guides to the dance of the dragons. I'm your host, David, and Jean. Justice for Sheepy, man.
Well, justice for Sheepy.
What is up with that?
Oh my gosh. And this is our coverage of episode 7 of season 3 of House of the Dragon, A Dragon in Winter.
Remember, everybody, we are a independent podcast, and we can get by on ad dollars, but it's subscriptions that really make a difference. And if you enjoy what we do and you want to hang out for a bit, get some bonus content, your subscriptions would be greatly appreciated. There's a link in the show notes, as there always is, to our link tree. There's a couple of different subscriber options that you can choose from. And we'd love to have your support, if it works for you, right? Like things are weird right now in the economy. So, if it works, that's great. And if not, and don't feel like you got to be subscribed for a long time. If you just want to throw in for the show for a couple of weeks or whatever, totally cool. But we really do appreciate everyone who does subscribe.
Yeah, we do. And if you want to talk to us, send us a message, an email. You can hit us up at hotd@thelorehounds.com. That's hotd@thelorehounds.com. Send us an email, send us a voice message. We love to get the feedback from you guys about what you're listening to as David and I talk, what you're responding to, and what you see in the show. Everything is welcome. You can also get at us on the Discord. We have a very robust Discord community.
Dude, it was hopping this episode
surrounding this show. It's quite a good time. Lots of people with lots of good information, and everybody's chiming in on what they like, what they don't like, what works, what doesn't work, and what they hope to see. So please join us.
Yeah, Nancy, our hand of the pod, dropped into the Discord channel today, and she posted in the production chat. She was like, "Oh my God, there's over 200 messages." I'm
surprised it was this episode that garnered so much.
Me too, because I was like, I don't know about this episode, and man, people were jumping in. I think for this week, we're going to do feedback on Thursday. We're a day later than we normally record just because of life schedules. But I think Thursday night, we're going to go for feedback again.
Thursday night.
So you got your time to get your messages in. I don't know, post them on the Patreon, send us your voicemails. It's all good. Nancy will collect them all. And boy, there's just no way we could go through all this all these messages and emails without Nancy's help. So Nancy, from the community, thank you. She's also working on the show guide. If you're a subscriber, you get the show guide, which gives you a rundown on all the characters in a non-spoilery way. The dragon stuff. It's really great as a mobile device, too. You can look up really easily, trying to remember who an actor is or a character's name or how to spell a character's name. Oh, my God. The spelling in this show is terrible. I'm a terrible speller to begin with, and I'm like trying to remember how to spell these people's names. But is it 2 D's in Adam? Like, what's up? And of course, it is Hot Lore Summer, Too Hot to Lore, wrapping up Lestat coverage, deep into the silo. I started to catch up. Did I watch 1 or 2 episodes?
Oh, okay. Okay, cool.
Yeah, catching up. I think I must have missed the end of the last season because there was some stuff. I was like, wait, what's going on?
Yeah, you got to
Or did they just drop us in C2, like in media res, I think. So anyway, I was like, okay, just roll with it. It's all good.
Yeah, I'm caught up in, oh gosh. It's doing some things to my mind.
It's bending.
Yeah, it's bending. Brain. Yeah. They're trying to Jedi mind trick me. It's not going to work.
Fair enough. We've got some Ted Lasso happening. I think John and I are going to do some short form coverage on that. Nice. John has got his Cosmere Corner coverage happening. That's cool. And I think last week, I was giving you a little bit of a hard time last week about Supergirl.
Yeah, whatever.
That was between Sean and I. So if anybody was like, oh man, because Alicia is working hard right now, and she's getting coverage done, and she's like scoring wins all over the place on keeping the podcast rolling. So Supergirl is coming. Hang tight.
I got my shit together. We did the pod.
Nice. Okay, cool. And so now it's in the editing, thing. So, but if give some, if you see Alicia online or whatever, give her a little love, give her a little shout out, because she is she's more than treading water. She's I don't know. I'm trying to find the appropriate metaphor for working hard and crushing it. So, Jean, today's episode is a bit of a goofy timeline. There were so many tiny little cut scenes, and we're jumping here and there with a little bit of stuff. So I think I've kind of got it organized. We'll talk a bunch of the little stuff at the beginning, just little scenes that are going to be completely out of order. Then I think we'll focus in on the Red Keep. Then we'll talk around Harrenhal, check in on Rook's Rest, and then we'll wrap it up with Tumbleton. So I think that's the way we're going to roll. Speaking of jumbled up episodes, where are you at with the penultimate here? I wasn't sure if they were going to give us the big battle this one, or if they were going to do some more table setting. I got some mixed feelings about this episode. There was a lot I liked, and then I was like, a couple things that had me scratching my chin. So where are you at?
Well, we're going into the final episode, right?
Yeah.
So I'm guessing it's going to be like 2.5 hours.
Oh, that's a good point. Oh, damn.
Because
think about that.
There's no way they can wrap up everything that they've done up to this point. There's no way that they can wrap up everything that they've been talking about up to this point in an hour, 70 minutes, hour and 10 minutes, hour and 5 minutes. It's impossible. I just can't see it.
And give us a battle.
Yeah, and give us a battle. So this has to be a supercharged, super deluxe episode. That we're about to get for this final, for the finale. Outside of that, I mean, let me just say, Daemon is such a creep. But the thing is, he's such a creep, and I know he's a creep, but do we have to keep seeing that he's a creep?
Yeah, right.
At this point.
Do we really need to go to that point?
Yeah, still, again and again and again.
Yeah.
You've driven home the point. We get it. Now it's time to just, ease up.
Move the story along.
Yeah, ease up on that and see what the character can do outside of that creep shit that he's always seems to be thinking about.
Mm-hmm.
The Rhaenyra story, that is a big fail for me. I think this is the plot. This is the storyline that ultimately dings this season for me.
Yeah.
Rather harshly.
Right.
I think they did not handle this well at all. I'm concerned as to how that particular storyline will wrap up. And I just am really disappointed in the way that the story was told and how it's been handled, how her character's been handled. And they're going to have to do some really good things with this character for me to feel good about where the story is at, her story's at.
If I can just interject,
please.
Because this was also one of my points. The Rhaenyra storyline, I know a little bit about the books. I won't mix in the book knowledge here at this point, because I think we'll save that for some book bitching on Thursday.
Yeah.
But what little I know, and I said the other week, like, I'm glad I'm not a book reader. But regardless of not knowing that, just regardless, setting that aside and just looking at what they started to set up and the direction that we were kind of going in with Rhaenyra making this sort of comeback and doing something cool, and she's, working out her feelings and taking some action and actually having some agency and being a three-dimensional character, I feel like they've just thrown all of that away.
I agree.
Whereas with Daemon's storyline, he's got a really cool arc. I like, the big trajectory of it. And they could have brought those two arcs together in this moment. And instead they zagged. And I'm not opposed to a zag ever, but it just feels like they've just cheapened her as a character when they started to build her up as to be finally something interesting was going on for her and with her. and a real, going through a real dark night of the soul and working through it, and then finding some fulfillment in something, and then finding some meaning, and then trying to make that come to fruition. It just feels like they just nerfed her. Like, what's the comic book thing when you fridge a character? I know it's not fridging a character, but it feels like that, where they're just like, we're just going to box this up and make it a really simple plot device and
it is
shortchange the character.
I think it is similar to fridging. Fridging refers to a female character that is killed for the growth of a male character in comics. She hasn't died, but it seems like her story has only been to fulfill Daemon's growth as a character.
And I like the character growth. And I like his growth,
but he doesn't need it. He doesn't need this for that growth.
They could have tied them together, and then they could have gone somewhere really interesting with father and daughter, right?
Right. But we're not there. We're not at that at all. And the thing is, when you brought up Daemon, what I thought was like they are treating him as a main character.
Yep. And
they're treating Rhaenyra as, roadkill. Like there's nothing compelling about her story at this point. At all, at least for me. Maybe other people can point to something that they find that they happen to like. But
there's elements that we like, but the arc is
her story. Yeah, I'm really disappointed. In this, and the last thing I'll say, two more things I'll say actually. Poor Alan, he should have seen it coming. Bro, I mean, you got to shoot your shot earlier. You know what I'm saying? You riding the dragons, you in the skies with homegirl. You got to say something. And then, so I feel bad for Alan.
Yeah.
And then also, I mean, the reason that this entire episode exists is for the dragons.
Yeah.
There's no point in this entire episode solely supports the dragons. This is about the dragons. From the battle to Helena's, dream. This is squarely about the dragons and putting the dragons at the forefront of the story. So I was very happy for that.
Yeah. And we'll talk about that scene for sure. And that was definitely one of the highlights for me as well. The CGI, the choreography, the way the dragons themselves, their characters, the fight made sense. Like it all, that conflict all worked really well. So like I was saying, there's like a lot that I enjoyed in this episode. And then there's some other stuff I was like, I'm with you on, do we need the grossness? We just don't need any more incest. We don't need any more sexual assault stuff. We just don't. It doesn't help the story any further. I get it. He's got mommy issues. That's fine. We don't. How far do we need to go with it?
Right.
On screen. Right. Okay. You can intimate. It's fine. But yeah. Anyway, it's just. It's a little much. The Deus. It felt a little Deus Ex Machina too to have. Sunfire show up at the end. Now it was cool. Like the scene turned out to be cool, but it was just like, okay, yeah, we know where this is going. It was kind of it wasn't an unexpected setup. And so that was a little bit of a letdown, even though the scene itself was kind of cool in some ways. That said, when I was doing my breakdown of the episode and taking notes and stuff, there was something I noticed that was really interesting, which goes back to a topic I was on before on a previous episode about like what this season about, what this show is about. And in this particular episode, there's a whole bunch of scenes where we get this contemplation of power. Who has power? How are they relating to power? How is power changing them? How are they exercising power? What do they feel about power? So it all goes back into that meditation and contemplation of power, like conversation with Rhaenyra and Helena, with Gawain and Gawain and Daemon, with Ulf and Ormond at the end. There's a whole bunch of little scenes. Rhaenyra and Missaria. There's some really great explorations of that. And so for me, that's what keeps me coming back to the show. Like, this is good, nutritional, interesting stuff going on with some cool dragon battles. So I think I'm all good there. So I don't know. That's where I am. I was interesting to see that this episode did generate so much conversation in the Discord.
It did a lot. A lot of people had a lot of difference of opinion about what we saw. But ultimately, again, I'm just, man, I think we can, there are a lot of little, storylines that need to be cleaned up.
I don't know how they're going to bring it all in together, too.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot.
It's a lot. And
the battle.
That next season is the final season, or I think we're getting 8 next season. So
yes,
we got 9 episodes left in this whole show. So we have a lot to work through yet. So, well, we have a lot to work through today as well. So let's take our first quick break. And then when we come back, we'll get into the episode breakdown.
Okay.
And we're back. Nothing on the military corner side of things this episode. We'll touch on a little bit, I think, when we talk on Thursday. Hopefully, Nate, if you're listening, if you want to update those situation maps, that would be awesome, because we've got some new forces on the board, some new chits to put out on the sand table. But otherwise, nothing really major strategically or tactically has changed that much that we need to talk about. Otherwise, let's just start with the here and there. There's a bunch of little short scenes. These are completely out of order, so this is not at all timeline. We're going to talk about Alan and the finger, quickly talk about Bela and Rhaena, talk about the Eyrie, and we can talk about Adam and Bela on the search. Anything with Alan and his dad's finger? Anything that caught you there? It was pretty straightforward.
Yeah, I knew the scene. What's the scene with Ormond and Corlys that he was going to cut his finger off? Right,
when he pulled up the knife, he one more thing. Yeah,
I was like, okay, finger is going to be sent to King's Landing,
Proof
so they know that
thing.
he's a hostage. So I was expecting that.
Right.
Yeah, I know a lot of people were particularly, moved by the dinner scene with Ormond, Corlys, Daemon.
We'll talk about all that whole scene later. Yeah. Just because they had that whole scene with Adam and the, Al? Damn it! Now I'm screwed.
Alan.
Sorry, I got it twisted in my head.
Alan
with Alan and the finger. So.
Yeah. And
so,
then,
it seems like he's got the Valerian forces in King's Landing, and they're starting
the ones that were promised to round up the high tower, remnants.
Insurgency. Yeah. So that's an important little factor.
And then when with Bela and Rhaena.
Yeah.
I mean, I know I was supposed to feel in that moment when Bela, comforts her younger sister.
Which I felt was an appropriate response, if I'm going to say it that way.
No.
Like, does your sister and a lot of crazy stuff went down, but you got to just be there for your sister. Period.
And then they give us this close-up of Rhaena's face. Like, and I'm, I was left wondering, what is this supposed to mean, this look on her face? Because I just don't know if she's supposed to be happy. Is she supposed to be sad? Is she angry? Is she missing Sheepy? Is she, glad to be out of the cave and eating regular food. And she had a bath and cleaned up her scars and her cuts. That she's not being executed, that her sister's hugging her. Like, I had all these questions about Rhaenyra that I found no answers for.
Mm-hmm.
And that's incredibly frustrating. Because this is someone who has gone through a horrific time in the weeks and months of this season.
Living with this guilt and this dread, and
we're living with a guilt that she shouldn't even have.
Right.
So what am I seeing in this moment when they embrace? Is it, finally being able to breathe? And I don't know. And I think that's a shitty place to be as a viewer who's followed this story along. And there's supposed to be this big moment here, right? This reunion of sisters. And I'm left like, what the fuck?
Mm. Yeah.
So,
and you can begin again anew.
Yeah. What does that mean?
What does that mean?
What does that mean for her? You know what I mean? Who did begin anew? She did. Like, this whole ordeal was her beginning again anew. She claimed her dragon.
And what about Sheepy and her bond?
Right.
Yeah.
Because if one thing they show clearly this episode is that the bond between Dragon and Dragon Rider is strong.
Mm-hmm.
They made that very clear.
Right.
So what now?
Yeah, in the way that the other Dragon Riders were interacting with their mounts.
Yes.
And everybody was just keeping everybody in check a little bit. That was really right. It took a lot of force of ego force, right? Like, chill, dragon, like, just hang tight and like, let me sort this out. And the dragon's like, okay, but I want to go at him. And they're like,
and then even they got to a point where they were like, okay, everybody, we got to get out the way. We got to get out the way.
Yeah.
Like, there's
and then
no stopping this.
They got. They took off. So
there's no stopping this. So we got to go. We got to get out the way. But again, I'm just left wanting in Rhaenyra's story.
Yeah.
That I feel like it needs a lot to get resolved. And how does that happen given the time frame that we're on currently?
Right. So we have I could have put these in order a little bit better, but we can just jump over, I guess, really quick to Adam and Bela on the search.
Yeah.
And I can sympathize with Adam, like, having been in that position, in the past. Like, oh, bro, that sorry, man. Sorry. It sucks. You're trying to be the nice guy, trying to be all heroic and chivalrous and like, hey, I'm safe and I'm, whatever. And she's like, nah, I want the bad boy.
But Alan isn't even really a bad boy. He's just
no, he's not. He's
just
not.
like he's just more, Alan.
He's broody. He's more broody.
But like I said, she was never going to get with Adam.
No, it was a foregone conclusion.
She was.
Right? Yeah.
He doesn't have white hair.
You think that's?
She didn't like Jace.
She was being dutiful with Jace, right? And I think she genuinely enjoyed Jace's company.
But not like that. He had dark hair.
Right. Okay. All right.
He had dark hair.
All right.
It was never going to happen. It was never, for as ick as it is, she's into the white hair. That's what it is.
All right.
That's what it is. That's what it is.
She had a thing.
Yeah, she has a thing. And it's not dark hair, brothers.
Got it. And yeah, we talked about it last week about, do we how do we feel about the love triangle? Is it an easy plot device to put these characters?
Oh, I hope not.
Into conflict? Is it some trigger? Because they're clearly laying tracks for all of the dragon seeds to be dissatisfied with their position.
Yes.
Is this one more thing in Adam's, tick on Adam's side of the ledger to be like, nah, this isn't working out for me?
I truly hope not. I truly hope, because that would be so contrived and it wouldn't even make sense to the story.
Doesn't make sense with the brothers.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Their bond is pretty strong. It's
pretty strong, man. Like, and for it to turn like that, nah. I mean, it happens in a lot of films, TV shows, movies, books, but I think it's contrived.
Yeah.
Like,
it's easy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't want to say cheap, but it's low effort.
Yeah, it is. It is. And I hope they don't go in that direction, that he's so aggrieved by Alan and Baylor being a thing that he turns
right
on his brother, essentially. And there's no reason to think that he would do so, because they've given us no reason to think that they are in competition with each other, ever, since we've met them on screen.
Right. They've been nothing but supportive of each other. Yeah. And then so suddenly you're going to throw, hey, love interest between you. Oh, like
I hate you.
Yeah, I can't believe it.
You took
I always loved you better than me.
Yeah, you took who I wanted, who I was in love with. So weak, man. Nah.
Yeah.
I hope they don't do that.
All right. Really quick, let's jump over to the Eerie. I know this is a little disjointed, but then we'll come around to the dragon fight. Do we need the grossness of like the Lady Jane sitting with her adult ward on, we already know these people are weird. Do we need to see more of it? I know it's canonical for all that stuff. I didn't need it. What did it do to this story? It did nothing for me for the story.
It ain't do nothing, but I've been telling you that them people in the Eerie,
we know
they not wrapped up too tight. You know what I'm saying?
We know.
The Eerie folks ain't, they doing human sacrifices and everything. So was I shocked to see that? No. But, and I kind of wondered, did they do that for a shock factor? Like, oh, look at what's going on here. You know what I mean?
But I'm saying, why did we need that?
If we didn't, that's why I'm asking if they felt like this was going to be a shock. Like, look at what Lady Jane is up to.
We have so much more to do with this storyline. Did we need to throw this in? I get why Daemon needed to go there. That's fine.
Yes.
And that Lady Jane and Daemon are in secret communication. That's fine.
Was that supposed to shock him as well as us, the viewer? Was that supposed to shock Daemon?
I don't know.
Or was she just living her life as she lives it? Like, I don't care. But we already know you don't care.
Yeah. I did like that, how he just jumped up on the edge of the moon door. that was very, I want to say swashbuckling or just whatever. Cavalier. That's the word I want to say.
Very Princess Bridey. Very Princess Bridey.
Yeah, exactly. Very much. And then, of course, he had to say, please.
Yes.
And he meant it, please give me a day.
He didn't mean it.
And this is where I like Daemon's arc.
Yes.
Right. We're actually seeing something new. He's gone through all of this stuff. He's with his brother, with his niece, and now who is his wife, his first wife, his second wife, his children, the gold cloaks, all of this stuff. And finally it comes down to, my daughter's life is in danger. Please give me a day to try to sort this out. Like, wow, that's really interesting. And I really loved where it's going. And then the whole other end of the storyline just fails. It's just flat because they're nerfing Rhaenyra.
Right.
But seeing his arc has still been pleasurable. And of course, Matt Smith, right? He's again, so good.
It's his arc, right? And how he's come to grips with how terrible he's been to his children. And that is admirable. That is admirable. But did Rhaenyra need to go through what she's gone through in order for him to reach this point? I would argue no.
Or even if she did go through this, give her the agency to work it out and to like actually have some kind of arc, not just be two-dimensional so that Daemon can have his man pain and grow from it. Like actually give her the moment of truth and working out the issues and having agency in her own life. And if she's going to make a sacrifice play, it's a choice that she makes, or if she's going to make it or whatever. Instead, she's hustled off the screen by the queen and Adam. Right. So.
Yeah. Didn't like it. But I did, like you point out, I did like to see Daemon in this moment, like really
pleading for the life of his
daughter.
Yeah, it was good, and we get a Nettles name drop there. Yeah. We get a Nettles drop there, so it'll be interesting to talk on Thursday when we get into book pitch and see what people make of that storyline, because that's that book thing. Right, so. We have when dragons attack, Sheepy, peacefully minding his own business, is ambushed and forced to the ground by Cyrax.
Caraxes.
Oh, sorry, Caraxes. My bad. Daemon and Rhaenyra, it's right there in the notes, Caraxes. Daemon and Rhaenyra have a brief father and daughter moment before Rhaenyra and Adam show up on Cyrax and Sea Smoke. I've got a little audio clip here, too. Let me see if I got the right one queued up.
I thought I could do this, but I can't. I cannot live the way I have, cut off from all who loved me.
And so you think by going after Vhagar you will... what?
If I kill her, I will have paid some of my debt to Rhaenyra. I would at least have grounds to sue for her mercy.
You will more likely die.
And I will have paid all of it. I will die absolved if I cannot live that way.
See, like, that setup I'm okay with. And she's grappling with action and consequence, action and reaction, consequence with internal feelings, power. Rhaenyra's got all this power. I'm doomed. I've got to figure out some way to balance that out. And so that goes in that meditation of power thing. Like, hey, there's a power imbalance here. And I'm trying to figure out how to resolve this situation. And I've got a dragon now, so that gives me some power. And Vhagar, that's a big power board, piece on the board. If I can go take care of that one way or the other, then I can resolve this situation. But I have power now, and I'm going to use it. I'm going to act on it. I'm going to use my agency. So up until this moment, like, things were going okay, story-wise, and then whatever. But then we get our little fight with Sheepy and company. Any thoughts on the prior conversation, or you want to just
no. The thing that pisses me off, like as I was watching it, I just said to myself, with the blame is squarely Jason.
Right.
Jace caused his own demise.
There you go.
No one on the show, no one in the family.
He set up the situation. He locked her in.
Yes. No one in the family is acknowledging this one fact. I don't care. Someone has to tell Rhaenyra, hey, your son locked you in the room and thought he was his uncle. You know what I'm saying? Thought he was somebody that he's not, and got 3 arrows put in him. That's not who you thought was riding sheep stealer. That is not that person's fault.
Not on Rhaenyra. Right.
It's not on Rhaenyra. And that she continues to take this burden, and no one around her is saying, no, not even in that moment. Not even in that moment. He could have said, no, it's not your fault. This is on Jace. Her sister could have walked into the room and said, "It's not your fault."
Her sister could have told Rhaenyra after action report.
Yes.
Yeah, Sheepy was tortured everything and it got all messed up, but your son still was out there when he wasn't supposed to be out.
When he wasn't supposed to be out. And those are the hard truths that you have to tell the ruler. Right? You have to be able to tell the ruler the hard truths. And this is one truth that no one seems to be willing to tell her. And as a result of that, we have Rhaenyra suffering immensely from this because everyone else has moved on. She's the only one who's still stuck. Baela is out there.
That doesn't belong to her.
Baela is out there trying to make amends, but Baela doesn't feel guilty. You see what I'm saying? Rhaenyra's the only person the only one who feels guilt for Jason's death. And I don't like it. I don't like it not one bit.
And then Sheepy's got to pay for it.
And then Sheepy has to pay for it. And then they jump Sheepy. Like, yo, how you just gonna jump my guy? My guy is just
peacefully flying along, looking for some sheep.
You roll up on me. You roll up on me and Rhaenyra. We minding our own business. Y'all want to roll up talking shit. I'm not backing down. That's what I do. I could take a fair one. Cyrax was about to die.
Seriously.
Cyrax was about to die.
Smoke was getting schooled as well.
Smoke caught. Got the smoke. You know what I'm saying? They were on the ropes. They are lucky Caraxes was there. They are lucky. And the thing is, you know, Daemon and Caraxes have such a bond. Like they do shit together. You know what I mean? Like that's a deadly combination. The two of them. Because
they're of a mind.
They are of a singular mind when it comes to this dragon fighting shit. When it comes to this dragon rider shit, Daemon and fucking Caraxes are tier 1. Tier 1.
Yeah.
Sheepy had no chance against them.
Right.
Sheepy had no chance, let alone you got two others, you know, nipping and scratching at me. I was pissed. I was upset. They tried to they bamboozled and jumped Sheepy. I'm like, what is happening here?
I
like,
really
what
thought
is this?
Cyrax was done for.
Dead. Sheepy had Cyrax dead. And here comes Sea Smoke.
When Cyrax was snacking on him, and then he just gets underneath and just does this body slam, just like boom,
dragon
down.
jujitsu on your ass.
And Cyrax was like,
like, but, and then the scene itself, it was absolute cinema.
Yeah,
everything about it.
Yeah,
the visuals were just, they were spectacular.
One thing I really liked was when Cyrax forced Sheepy to ground. And then I keep saying Cyrax. Caraxes forces Sheepy to the ground. There's a wide shot, kind of an establishing shot of two dragons facing off each other as the riders are coming in the middle. Behind them is a little hill, like a little hillock. And one of the things that hill does is it gives us a point of reference because we're about to get real mixed up with a bunch of dragon combat, right? So we have a fixed point of reference. So no matter where we are on the camera, what point of view, as we're spinning around, we kind of have a place to orient to. The other thing that hill does is it provides a sense of scale.
Yes.
We understand how big these dragons are, not only to humans, but relative to each other.
Yes.
Their length, their girth, their height, all of that kind of stuff. So all of that was just really smart direction and choreography. The CGI was flawless. I never felt...
it was really good. It was really good.
I never felt taken out of the moment, like, oh, that's a bad shot or that's a bad little, moment there. Even when Daemon got bumped and rolls off the wing,
Yes.
They stitched that together really nicely, the practical effect into the CGI. I was well pleased by this. Just as a little encapsulation, just a little piece of action. Perfect.
Yeah. It was a great scene. It was a great scene. And Sheepy not dead. Let's be clear. Sheepy is not dead. You know, y'all hurt my guy. My guy's hurt.
He was smoking.
My boy is hurt. Yeah. But Sheepy is not dead. And I'm not sure why Daemon didn't.
Yeah, that was interesting, right?
Kill Sheepy. Is it because of the connection between Sheepy and Rhaenyra?
Was he feeling a little guilt there?
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering.
Because when he gives Adam the command to like go escort the queen, which I think is the right thing, right? The queen needs to be escorted at all times. Always needs to have extra air cover. He says to Cyrax, kill.
Yes.
And so it's not like, hey, I'm going to let Sheepy, like, oh, nobody's around. Okay, cool. Sheepy, like, get out of here. They went in for it. And at some point he made the decision. They could have gone in as Sheepy was running away and gotten an attack from behind, but didn't.
Did he think that the injuries suffered were enough or did he, did he pause because that's his daughter's dragon?
That's what I'm wondering. And I kind of like the ambiguity.
Yeah.
I kind of like that ambiguity. Is this Daemon being soft?
Yes.
Because we see him not take a hard angle on something later on in this episode when he has the conversation with Rhaenyra.
Yes.
He tries a loving approach as opposed to an assaulting approach as he's been abusive in the past, physically abusive in the past. All right. Anything else on the dragon fight?
Yeah. We will have justice for Sheepy.
Justice for Sheepy.
I don't care how long it takes.
We need the shirt. We need to get the merch store. All right. And I was like, really, I had a wild swing of emotions because we had Crispy Cole's head on a pike this episode.
Oh, gosh. Oh, my God. Can I just give me a minute here? Because when the unks from up north were walking and they had the head on the stick, but the head still had the one arrow still in it, I said, yo, how do they know me so well?
And the whole community, we were all like, sure.
How do they know me so well?
That's a t-shirt there. We need that like an Andy Warhol in like a 4x his head.
Oh, man. They had the arrow still in his face. I said, yo, these unks are no joke. This is what it's about. Like, just awesome. Like I said on the Discord, that image is going to sustain me for a good long time. It is. I'm going to screenshot that motherfucker. And
we need to turn it into some art. We need to turn it into some.
It is art. It is art. It absolutely is. This is magnificent. Hanging up in the Louvre.
For sure. But then we had the roller coaster because we had Cole on a pike and then we had Sheepy getting jumped. And I was like, oh man, they're doing Jean dirty on this episode. They're putting him through the roller coaster of emotions. Too funny. All right, let's do this. Let's take our next break. And when we come back, let's spend a little time in the Red Keep. And we're back. All right, Dreamer's going to dream. Helena has a dream of herself in the courtyard of the Red Keep with a gray mare. She's woken by Rhaenyra, who wants to know everything. And then let's talk about this a little bit, and then we'll bookend it with her second dream that she has later on in the episode. What did you make of this first dream?
Gosh, where do I start? Like, I feel so badly for Helena. Just really, this is someone who deserves so much better. And the machinations of her family, the lies she's been told, the abuse that she suffered at the hands of her brothers,
Brother,
her
husband.
mother. Yeah. Just, I feel so badly for her.
Mm.
And the dream sequences just, they really hit for me.
Okay.
You know, they really hit for me. It was just like, when you see someone who lacks agency in the way that she lacks agency,
Mm-hmm.
being taken advantage of over and over and over and over and over again, I don't know.
The side eye that Helena gives Rhaenyra, when she's like, well, you got 6 dragons. How has that changed you? And
Right.
she's like, what do you mean changed? And it's like, damn, you really are far gone. Like, you're way over. Like, you have no idea what's going on with yourself. I just thought that was so insightful, so interesting. She is, for as gentle of a soul she is, and so maybe, not worldly, right? Being out and living a daily life in the world, she can cut through so much bullshit.
No, she sees it all. She sees it all. Like, I just want her to grab her, child, get on top of a dream fire, and just go.
Mm.
Like, I wish she would just do that. And in that scene in particular, as she's laying in the bed, she has a needle point. Rhaenyra is tightly grabbing her wrist. Tell me everything,
Infantilizing her. Oh, you're a dreamer. Can you, she's like talking to her like a 6-year-old. And then when she's done, when she doesn't get her answer, she gets all violent and grabs her.
So I'm just like, yo, just get on your dragon, take your child and bounce. Leave all of this shit behind, man.
Mm.
Leave all this shit behind. Because at the end of the day, we've been talking about dragons of power for the entire season. She does have power. She does have power. She's a dreamer and she's a fucking dragon rider. Like, use that. And it's so, it really makes me sad to see her unable to or unwilling to use those things to her advantage that she clearly could. In much the way that I'm saddened by Rhaenyra's, fall.
Mm.
They're not the same, but these are 2 young women, 2 girls who are just, their lives are brutal, and no one around them seems to even, I don't want to say no one cares, but it's hard for me to look at, Helena and Rhaenyra and say that people care about them.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard for me to do that.
They're pieces on a board, in a way.
Yeah, and they only, their well-being is as much of an afterthought as anything.
Mm-hmm.
We have Rhaenyra here. We have Helena here. We know where they're at. We have to manage them. That's what the feeling that I'm getting.
Mm.
Like, these are 2 girls, young women who need to be managed. And that's a fucked up situation to be in. Yeah.
Yeah, Westeros is not a great place to grow up.
No.
So
yeah.
This is the first scene of this episode where I was like, oh, okay, this is where we're getting this meditation on power, this contemplation of power stuff. And this line about, you've got 6 dragons and you can't see, and how has that changed you? And Rhaenyra is managing and trying to deal with so much and so many threats and so many different people at her for so many different things. And And Daemon keeps urging her to use the power that she has at her fingertips, which is 6 dragons. Like, she has 6 dragons, right? That is unfathomable power. And yet, she doesn't want to use it, but yet it's still changing her. She hasn't exercised that power, but holding that power has changed her. And Helena sees the change and tries to call it out. And Rhaenyra is unwilling to see that she has changed. What do you think of me? Right? Who do you think I am? Do you think I'm going to hurt you? Do you think I'm Rhaena? Do you think I'm going to punish you because you were involved in the death of my son? But all these people are like, but you're the queen. Like, you have to do certain things to just maintain your grip on power. And whether you exercise that power or not. And then we get that conversation later with Mysaria about her father, but like not using power when you have the power is as much, just holding the power is changing you. Regardless of how you exercise that power, it's still just by being in the position of that power. How does that affect an individual? And I think that's an interesting question.
But I think the question too is, her father didn't, the challenges for her as a ruler because she's a woman are far different from what her father faced.
Yep. True.
I don't know if she's made that connection yet.
Have we made that connection as the audience as well?
Yeah, I think I have, because I think I understand when she says her father would not do certain things, but her father could afford not to do certain things because that would not be looked upon as weakness. Because
nobody's going to second guess the male heir king person.
I question.
Well, you have somebody like Ormond who would be questioning everything. Anything you do doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
He's just going to question it.
Yes.
The misogyny's built in.
So right now, I'm at the point where I'm like, yeah, maybe you should use the power that you have to secure your rule.
Right. And reshape the landscape.
Yes. Yes. So I don't believe she's made that calculation yet. And that's to her detriment.
So this is an interesting thing, what you're saying there. And we were chatting a little bit about this on the Discord about the dream sequence and what's the symbology of the dreams. In the first dream, there's a gray mare or a pale horse, described either way, in the courtyard hitched to a wagon. And in her second dream, there's an unbridled horse just standing in the little enclosure, farmhouse thing that they're standing in.
With the chickens.
Yeah. And wasn't it in the final episodes of season 8, isn't there a gray mare or pale horse like running through the streets of King's Landing during the Dany's Hellfire?
Yeah, scene? I think that was something that Arya saw. Arya Stark.
I haven't, I should have done the work and gone back and dredged up episode, season 8 of Game of Thrones. But then I'm like, part of me is like, do I even want to go there? Do I even want to touch that stuff?
No, you don't. We don't want to go back to season 8.
Yeah, a bunch of people on the Discord were like, "Oh, why are we bringing up all of this stuff about the final season of Game of Thrones? And do we have to go there?" And they keep laying tracks in this season, right? They keep making hard point connections between now and then. Obviously, the cat's paw dagger that Aemond has now, like that's a constant reminder of the whole prophecy and the Night King and all that stuff. And so it's but it's interesting, to have the pale mare in her dream. And what does that portend? Is that an omen? I think so. Let's just jump really quick to the second dream. She dreams of giving birth and the child is taken away. And then she dreams of riding Dreamfire. And we've got a scene of a bunch of people, hoarding into the dragon. What do they call that place?
Dragon Keep.
The Dragon Keep. And then we get that scene of her with her children in the chicken farm with the solar eclipse and the snow falling, and then a big winter storm, a violent sort of winter storm blowing in. Which that's coded Night King, right? That's totally coded for that. But then having the pale mare always in her background, is that a direct allusion? Is that a direct reference to the sacking of King's Landing? Or is that some metaphorical, like, if you use your power, this power, the result of this power is this, this doom. Like, if this horse is the symbol of Armageddon and of things of like ultimate catastrophe, is that always in your background when you're contemplating using power? I don't know. I feel like I'm grabbing straws here a little bit. I'm trying to make some meaning out of this, and I definitely would like to. If folks have thoughts on the dreams, they definitely need to let us know.
So yeah, I agree. The whole coding was Night King, right? So that was definitely foreshadowing that, and I think that the pale horse was also foreshadowing Dany. And because we see Arya ride off the pale horse after Dany burns King Lane.
Right.
In that vision.
There's so much, it's so long ago and I have such sketchy memories of it. Like, do I go back and try to look up?
Don't do it. Don't do it.
All right. I'm relying on your memory.
So.
Or collective trauma.
Yeah. Collective trauma. So we see Arya, ride off into the ashes, presumably after Dany, burns King Landing down, blah, blah, blah. So I think there is, because of the other things that are happening in that sequence, I believe that was a call to the ending of season 8, personally. I could be wrong, but you can't, it's just too much. The eclipse, the snow, the night falling, and the horse there all at the same time. And it's like the snow, ash. I couldn't really tell.
Oh, right. Snow versus ash, right? Yeah. Yeah.
So
good call.
I think it's a call to that.
Yeah.
To those final episodes in Games of Thrones.
Which is an interesting thing. And we touched on this before about dreamers and dreams. Dreams may be indicating a truth about, something that's yet to come, but a vision without context, what is that? Right? It's like, if we can look. All right. So I'm going to drop a real world example here. My daughter and I have been watching the recent World War II series that's narrated by Tom Hanks. He's the executive producer. I don't know if you've seen this. It's a 20-part series all about World War II. It's really interesting. And there's so many different facts you could take out. And I won't go into any one in particular. But there's very famous facts, certain battles, certain things people have said. You could take that fact, and unless you have the context of what led before it and led after it, of course, all of our history, professionals out there and academics and our listening audience, they're all like, yes, the context matters. If you have a prophetic dream and you see your baby being taken away, is that reality? What does that mean? What's going to happen to the baby? I don't know. You don't have any context for that. It's just a thing that's happening. Are you really on Dreamfire? Is that really something that's going to happen? Or you're in a farmyard and there's this solar eclipse and this violent winter storm? That's not reality. Is that's some sort of indicating metaphor, right? Of something bigger to come, but not in a specific instance. So you can have these dreams, but it's just like a historical fact without context, without interpretation, without any other meaning around it. It's meaningless in a way. And Rhaenyra is like, well, where are these guys and what's happening in Tumbletown? And like, why can't you just like, pop in and just be an omniscient eye and tell me exactly what's going on? It doesn't work that way.
Yeah, I felt that she was mixing being a seer and being a dreamer in that moment.
Yes.
Right? Like two different things. Like dreams are not necessarily prophecy. And being a seer, you can see what's happening.
Right. When Bran was flying around and, and being able to like land on a tree branch and like watch and listen.
Exactly.
And get context and understand sort of like what the whole of the situation is, as opposed to just having this vision out of, with no context.
So I think she's not making the distinction between those two things.
Right. And I think that's interesting for us too, as viewers, is to think about what power do dreams have and what interpretive power, who's interpreting the dream, what are the contexts of the dream, how are we interpreting it? And I think they're putting that on us right now. Like, oh, what does her dream mean? Like there's right now 1,000 YouTube videos are going out across the internet with everybody trying to interpret Helena's dream. What does the pale mare mean?
But again, I think this is to Rhaenyra's, detriment. I think this episode showed the cracks more than any other episode prior. Showed the cracks that she has in this role.
Really starting to become unstable. Her rule is becoming unstable.
And her rule is becoming unstable. I am not saying she is becoming unstable.
Right.
Right.
She's
and I want to make that distinction clear because, Game of Thrones gave us Dany becoming unstable, right? When there was no reason for that. Mm-hmm. So I want to be clear. I hope again that they are not trying to set up a situation where Rhaenyra becomes unstable. Her rule is unstable. Her position is unstable. Do not make this about her being unstable.
Right.
So I am really hoping, because the cracks are certainly starting to show. And if they go in that direction, I'm going to be fucking pissed.
I think a lot of people will be. I think a lot of people will be.
Right.
And just really quick, well, let's save it. Let's put a pin in that and try to remember this when we come back around to talk about Mysaria and Rhaenyra, because I think there's some important things there about choices that she's making and models that she's trying to use. She, the reference to her father, and she's trying to. Rhaenyra needs to find her own center, not somebody else's center.
Yes.
And that's the only way, only can she find her truth, and to rule from her truth will things not be unstable circumstantially around her.
Like she knows that intellectually, I feel that she knows that she can't be her father.
She's learning that now. She was trying to do it, and I think she's getting to the point where this is not working.
I can't be him.
Right.
Not through any, lacking on my part, but it's due to a tremendous lacking in our culture, in our society. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like she has to come to that realization sooner rather than later, because if she doesn't, then this whole shit falls apart.
Well, let's talk about some more shit falling apart at the small council chamber. We've got the usual squabbling at the small council. Manderley complains about being a scapegoat. We've got no word from Corlys, Harrenhal, and an absent Daemon. Adam and Baela report in, and Mysaria then presses Rhaenyra as they walk and talk. So I think this is a good illumination of what's going on here, because her small council doesn't represent a true extension of her will. Lady Frey was like, she put her on the small council just to shut her up. Manderly's a scapegoat. The only one that's really there sort of in an authentic capacity is Orwyle, the Maester. Right. He's not duplicitous. He's the Grand Maester, right? He's just trying to ride easy and play it down the middle. So I think he's fine. Mysaria is clearly increasingly in it for her own game. Daemon is
Daemon.
And at least Alan is doing his best as a stand-in for the Hand. Right. But he's junior, right? He's junior.
He's not Corlys.
No. And he's able to do something. And he's the only guy in the South Small Council meeting that actually gives him some...
Yes.
Gives him positive productive news.
No, he's actually done something. He actually did something to try to shore up her reign.
Her position. Not her own position. Not Lady Frey. Like, I get Harrenhal? Okay, good. Bye. I'm out. Peace.
I'm out. And even that was done so haphazardly. Go take it. Go ahead, take it.
Just get out of my face.
Yeah. The cracks are really starting to show, and
you sound like Hugh, always bugging me. You'll get a cat when the house becomes available.
Exactly.
You'll get one.
Exactly. And it's just, it's it's tough to watch her have to manage these people who are so not into her.
They're not her people.
They're not her people.
Right, the one person you could argue that isn't always the main ruler's actual person is maybe the Grand Maester, right? Because that's a whole order within itself, and they got to elect their dude that's sort of there. It's kind of like the Joint Chiefs of Staff.
Yes,
like you can kind of have some influence and pick, but really, it's a pick amongst those people who gets sort of put forward, and then you gotta make your peace with them and work with them, and they're supposed to be kind of neutral in a way. Right? They're supposed to play it straight and not necessarily play sides. Maybe I'm reading too much into the Maesters, but anyway, you're looking at me suspiciously.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about the Maesters, man.
Well, not that they don't have their own things, but they do. They're like the post office. They got to play it kind of straight, right? Everybody's, we got to get the mail delivered. We got to get the unctions made. We got to make the poison. Like
they don't always play it straight, though.
They don't always. I'm not saying that they do, but they play it more straight than.
I think everybody's in for themselves. At the end of the day, everybody in the small council, whether they're your people or not your people.
I mean, Orwell is trying to save his neck too.
They're all in it for themselves.
Yeah.
To your point, Alan is the only one that's done something on this small council to actually help her position.
Yeah.
Everyone else, they're not doing shit. And if whatever they're doing is to prop themselves up. And I really love that Manderly finally said, hey, it looks like the only reason I'm here is so I can get blamed for shit.
And the look on Mysaria's face when he says that, she picks up her chalice and wine. That was priceless. I want to make a gif of that, like, oh, look, not me. Like, I'm not guilty.
I didn't do it. I didn't put your name out there.
So good. But she's like, what do you want me to do about it? Like, Rhaenyra was like, well, do they smeared shit on your door? What do you want me to do about that?
This is it. This is the job. They're like, this is the job. You didn't read the posting? It's not my fault.
There's the remember, what was it? Was it episode 3 where we had that real POV on Rhaenyra and all of the things that she was feeling, and there's a bunch of sound design stuff. When Adam and Bela come in and report about Sheep Stealer, there's that low rumbling in the background of Rhaenyra's, and we get that close up of her face, and that rumbling. It's like the blood rushing in your head when you're having a strong emotional reaction to something.
Yeah.
So they use that sound design thing again, right? And they set it up earlier as a visual language for us, and then they brought it back again here. So good job on the editing and story design. Mysaria.
Yeah.
And so there's this walk and talk where Mysaria is dripping honey into Rhaenyra's ear. And again, this meditation on power, there's this tension on the point of views between Mysaria's strategy and Daemon's strategy that they're arguing. Daemon's like, shore up your security forces, use your power unconditionally. You have the power. You're a Targaryen. You have dragons. Shape the kingdom as you see fit because that is your mandate to rule. You got the hair. You got the dragons. Do it. And Mysaria is like, your power base is the people and the small folk. And your long-range rule really needs to be, they need to see you. You need to derive your legitimacy from them. You need to be there, connected to them and their voice and have this simpatico thing. So there's these two theories of power that are being advocated by her two closest advisors. Right. And that there's that tension between how does Rhaenyra rule? What is her theory of the case of this is who I am, this is what my values are, and this is how I'm going to execute on those. And there's two competing theories that are drawing her apart. And neither of them really resonate with her as a person.
Right.
Right. But those two forces are pulling really hard at her. And that conversation with Mysaria, like, hey, Daemon's, we know Daemon is capable of a lot of things. So she's trying to use sort of not really an ad hominem attack, but she's attacking his character rather than the theory of power. She's not addressing, hey, if we spend the gold on the gold cloaks and then the people riot, like that's not a good strategy, right? She's not addressing the mechanics of the theory of how to do this. She's attacking Daemon's character, which is not really advancing her theory of the case either.
Which is not doing anything to prop up Rhaenyra's rule.
No.
It's just trying to place herself in a better position vis-a-vis who has the queen's ear.
Wedging the power. Yeah, wedging one person out of the power.
And this is a gross miscalculation on her part.
And we're going to see. So let's just sort of flow right through here because the next sort of three blocks of text I have are Mysaria and Sylvia. Mysaria showing off the throne room and Mysaria making a play to position herself as the ear of the queen for the small folks. And then we have Rhaenyra and Daemon talking while Linda Massey looks on. And then Mysaria and Rhaenyra, and Mysaria turning the tables on Rhaenyra. So it's all kind of a big piece here. Anything you want to say about Mysaria and Sylvia in the throne room?
Oh, I just love Sylvia giving her the business, like letting her see herself. Like, yo, you brought me here to show off. She's like Ulf.
Right.
So what's the difference?
Mm-hmm.
Ulf wants to, show everybody that he's a dragon rider and, look at me now. What's the difference between what Mysaria is doing here? And then on top of it, she's attempting to make herself a proxy for the queen. Right. Without getting the queen's,
vizier,
saying,
the grand vizier. Yeah. Like you got to go through me to get to the ruler. Worm tongue.
Without the queen saying so. You know what I mean? Like, she's grossly miscalculating her.
And Sylvia position. Sees it all. She's like, I see your play.
Like, don't think you can get these people to be your people.
And she calls out the inherent classism in the system, right? Like you came from somewhere and they will never see you as not that.
Never.
And that was even highlighted in the small council meeting where Manderley's telling Frey, like, oh yeah, that's the one that used to be the sex worker.
Yeah.
So nice hook there, right? They set that in the dialogue early. And then like with Sylvia, it's like nice. They cinched that up really well. I really love Sylvia's comment here about all the swords around the throne that they look like 100 little small cocks, poking up. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's kind of right. Boys and their toys. We had some family friends over visiting today, and one family had several boys running around. First thing they do, they're out in the yard, they grab sticks and they're
Oh,
running around
gosh.
with sticks. It's just like, oh man, it's just there, right?
Yeah, God, it's just, yeah, that scene, man. I'm telling you, Sylvia, man. I love that she didn't, back
Succumb.
down.
Right. She was like, I know who you are. I know what.
I know exactly what you just said. I know who you are. And I know why you brought me in here. You talking about the small folk. You didn't bring me here for that. You brought me in here to show off. Fuck out of here.
Then, so this is another interesting thing on this meditation of power thing, because Mysaria advances the argument here. I can do more good to change the system from the inside than I can from the outside. Now, regardless of her authenticity around that argument, that is the argument that she advances to Sylvia. I'm on the inside now, and I can make changes from the inside, right? And that in a lot of political conversations, that is one of the conversations. Do you go on the inside and work for change, or do you stay on the outside and work for change?
Yeah, but you know what? I don't see her working for change.
Right. Regardless of Mysaria's actual motivations and who she is as a person, there's just that argument that in political discourse, do I join the new administration and try to influence the administration from the inside or from the outside?
I agree with you. That is absolutely true.
And it's a hard conversation to be like, because when you go inside, you have to compromise and you have to fit the system and you have to follow the dictates and the policy you have to be in alignment with the policy of that administration. Whereas on the outside, you can throw rocks and make noise and carry signs. You can do all kinds of stuff, right? And you can make, good arguments. You can get other people elected. So how does change, what's the, in terms of a theory of change, how do you affect change in a political system? Inside, from the inside or the outside? And I would say it's a
combination of both.
It's a whole salad of it, right? You got to have it all.
It's a combination of both. And I think her idea of changing it from the inside seems to me strictly about getting Daemon out of the way.
Right.
And that ain't it. That is not it. Because if she believes that's the key, then she is grossly underestimating.
She hasn't tried to make an alliance with Daemon. She hasn't tried to co-opt him.
Not even that. But she's underestimating the ruling class.
Very true. Very true.
If she really,
because Daemon has always been spouting the classist stuff, right?
Always.
Sorry, Gary. I
no. Yeah, no, it's okay. He's always been doing that. This is not something new. Everyone knows it. So if you think just because he's no longer in the ear of the queen, like he wasn't in the ear of his brother, right? His brother wasn't listening to everything that Daemon told him to do. How'd that work out for everybody?
Mm-hmm.
So if she really believes, and this is just my thought, from watching her, is that if I could just get Daemon out of the way, then I'll be able to, mold the queen in the direction that I think is best. She is grossly underestimating the ruling class.
That's a really good point. I really like that. So let's talk about Daemon. When he comes in to talk with Rhaenyra, she asks Alinda Massey to stay. Right, which calls back to, what was it, on Dragonstone when he assaulted and abused her physically. She's like, not going to happen again. And so I got a couple of questions here. There's a really interesting comment that she dropped. She says, "What do you think I am?" When she says, Daemon being afraid. So there's a whole bunch going on in here, right? Because there's the whole, you've assaulted me before, I'm not going to let that happen. There's Daemon seeing that and then trying a soft approach. He's trying a soft approach to save the life of his daughter. She's Rhaenyra saying, who do you think I am? Do you think I just put her to death? Do you think I'm that kind of a monster? Right. So there's that tension there.
And what's his answer?
Huh?
What was his answer?
Did he answer? I can't remember.
He said, you're the queen.
Oh, yeah. Right. Yeah.
So the expectation is yes.
Yes.
Not just from Daemon, but from everyone.
Everyone. The
expectation is yes.
You got to put Pharaon down. If Helena has a baby, you got to put that baby
dead.
Down.
So that's the expectation. So what do you think I am? That is the question of the hour. You are the queen. What does the queen have to do?
And what is the queen expected to do?
And what
am I going to do?
Yes.
Within that overall circumstance. And this, to me, again, goes all the way back to that question of what is Rhaenyra's theory of power and exercising power? She doesn't have one.
And if I don't do these things,
what are the consequences?
If I don't do these things, what will the consequences be? How will I be looked upon?
Right. By my banners and my vassals as well as my enemies.
Yes.
Because we saw her small council on Dragonstone certainly had opinions about her decisions.
Yes. But what they never, and this is what, to Daemon's point again, what they can't argue with are the dragons. You could say all the shit you want to say. And if you take a swing, you better hope the poison works, or you better hope the assassin gets me. Because if that doesn't happen, the dragons are here.
Right.
The dragons. And I think this is what he's trying to tell her. Like, you don't have to kill anyone. You don't have to kill Rhaenyra. You don't have to kill Daemon. You don't have to kill Helena's baby. You don't have to do any of that stuff. Because if you use the dragons, who's going to tell you otherwise? If they know the dragons are in play, like really in play, what are they going to say? What are they going to do?
That's interesting. That's interesting. Like if she, and how much flexing would she actually need to do?
Yes.
Because where was it when was it Rook's Rest? It was one of the early Cole campaigns or was it Runestone trying to remember now. I've got a bunch of stuff mixed up in my head. But anyway, there was some dragon flexing earlier on in the season and people were like, okay, we're good. We're like, yeah, we're not gonna, we're not going to mess with the dragon. You don't need to flex that hard.
And you don't. And the thing is, this is just me. You have the dragons, right? You could use. But you also have Daemon, who will just walk up to somebody and cut their head off without a second thought.
Right.
He would, without a second thought, he will walk up to somebody who's talking shit and kill them. He's done it before. We've seen it. Corlys's brother, rest in peace. We've seen it happen.
Oh, I don't have the Bastards clip loaded up.
Oh, that would have been epic.
That was good.
But we've seen these things happen, right? So he's telling her to use the power, the things that you have at your disposal because you're the queen. And maybe the things that you really want to do in the way you really want to rule, you can start. But you can't start from where you're at right now.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And that puts everything in interesting light when we think about the fact that he lied to her, but he didn't scheme against her. He was lying to protect his daughter and trying to serve the interests of the crown. But in so doing, he's violating the trust, right? because
Right.
of this idea. What do you think I am? You're the queen. You have to kill her, right? So they're trapped in this construction of what's expected and how people perceive power should be exercised.
Right. Rhaenyra's his child from a previous marriage. All right. Changes things.
Yeah.
And he's calculating all of these things because he knows what he would have done.
Right.
He knows what's expected.
Right. And so he's seeing her through that lens.
Yes.
And that interpretation. So this is interesting now. We flip. So like I was saying, we have Rhaenyra's two closest advisors in this episode trying to make a play for her to keep her sort of on their side and subscribing to their theory about how she should be operating. So now we got Mysaria later, and she ends up seducing Rhaenyra.
Mm-hmm.
But first, I've got an audio clip for this one. Let's see, do I have the right one queued up here?
I've acted only in your interests.
You have sought to turn me from him. Pouring your honey in my ear, whispering, encouraging, seeking to make me in your image.
In my image, Your Grace, have I ever counseled you to do aught but what Viserys would have you do in his place? As you have oft-times said, is your own desire.
Yes, and in hewing to his vision, what have I reaped? Peace, prosperity, the gratitude of my subjects.
Boom, right there.
Mm-hmm.
She's, like you were saying before, she's coming to grips that Viserys is not the model
that she
for her.
that she can follow. She cannot follow. She cannot be him for 100 reasons. But in my eyes, first and foremost, because of this misogynistic, sexist culture that she is in, they will not allow her to be him.
And so she has to chart a whole new path
Yes.
that she doesn't have a model for.
Yes.
There's no one else she can follow in their footsteps. She has to chart this path. And she doesn't have the people around her to be giving her the thoughtful things to be thinking about. How, if we do this, what will happen to that? What will be the reaction? Right? She doesn't have a small council that's actually her brain trust to work through these issues.
Right.
She's handicapped, completely handicapped. And now, so I have a curious question. I wonder, did Alinda Massey report to Mysaria about Daemon and her trying to have a conversation before?
My thought is yes.
Because it was Mysaria who sent Alinda into the city to be her agent, right? To soften up King's Landing before they made their move.
Yeah, my thought is yes.
So is she still her creature? Or does Mysaria have her like, oh, you know, we're you and me. It's you and me, Melinda. We got to look out after the queen, right? So make sure I know everything that's going down or whatever.
Could be both of those things. She could be, could be both. Could be either or.
Yeah, they haven't shown us any indication. So I think it's an interesting question.
But my headcanon is that, yes, she's still working for Mysaria and that she told her about the talk.
But then Rhaenyra goes to Mysaria to challenge her, and Mysaria changes up her tactics and seduces her, manipulates her into this other position.
I think she's underestimating. I think she's overestimating her own position at this point. She really is. To the detriment of Rhaenyra, because she's not doing the things that she needs to be doing in order to help her. Which is what Nate on the Discord has been saying for a long time, and I haven't seen it, but this episode made that clear for me.
Say more.
No, she's more wrapped up in Daemon, me, Rhaenyra than she is in what do I need to do to help Rhaenyra
do what Rhaenyra
shore
needs to
up-
get done.
shore up her rule.
Right.
Because I've not seen anything to suggest that she's actually, listening to the whispers and feeding back that information to the queen.
Right.
What I have seen is her whispering to the queen about what she wants the queen to do.
Right.
Right. Which is different. She's not taking information that's being passed on, that's being
And saying,
heard.
here's the intel briefing,
Right.
here's the regal daily briefing of
Yes.
like the state of the play of the
Yes.
of Westeros.
Here's the national security brief
Right.
that you get daily. She's not doing that. And this episode made that perfectly clear for me.
Mm-hmm.
She's overestimating her position, and it's going to give us, I'm telling you, don't she underestimate the ruling class and how much they like power.
And interesting here, Daemon goes in to try to have an intimacy, and
Yes.
Rhaenyra's like, I'm tired.
Bruh.
But then Mysaria makes her play, and it happens. It goes down.
Yeah, because Mysaria is not Daemon in this moment.
And is not an instrument of direct betrayal, right? Like,
Yes.
yeah, I looked at that skull 100 times.
Again, to my point earlier, you're passing the blame
Mm-hmm.
from who it really should be on. That skull did not represent Jace's death. Jace himself was the cause of his death.
Interesting.
It's a hard thing to believe and understand and to accept as a parent, right? But he locked you in the fucking room.
Right. And we always want to seek blame and seek retribution, and like,
Absolutely.
we have to what is justice as opposed to retribution, revenge and retribution.
He locked you in the room and told the people who
Told your Queen's Guard
not to let you out so he can go fly off and
play the hero.
but you want to blame the skull.
It's a mess.
It's a mess.
Big mess. I really like the inversion of power here with Mysaria topping Rhaenyra and, taking the lead in that situation.
It's only because she lets her.
Right.
It's
Well,
not
and
because
that's the
there's
whole
a
thing.
true power
You can top
dynamic.
from the bottom, right? There's a
Right.
whole, all
That's
that
only-
stuff.
Only because
But
she
it's
lets
a
her.
great, again, it goes into power and the seductiveness of power and who has power in all kinds of situations, and how does it feel when you give power to somebody else knowingly and allow yourself to be managed by that person with their power, and vice versa, right? It's just a whole bunch of psychology going on here that's really super interesting. And this question that Rhaenyra asks herself, am I worthy, right, of wielding this? In this moment, am I worthy of being the ruler of the Seven Kingdoms,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? And am I worthy of wielding this power? So really, I think a really great scene. I think is really fascinating from all these angles of manipulation and power, and how do you wield power? What does power do when you hold it? What does power do when you give it away? Right?
Yeah. And she's been constantly told this season to use your power.
Mm-hmm. And in this moment, she
Don't be
uses her
afraid of
power
it.
to allow somebody else to be on top of her. Right? Because if she said no, like, she still has the power, right? She's still the queen.
Oh yeah. That's what I'm saying. She allowed that situation.
Yeah. So
to
interesting,
unfold
right?
in the way
It's
that
fascinating.
that she wanted it to. So the power never really left her.
All right, let's take another break, and then we'll fly over to Harrenhal and get into
Do we really have to?
the freakiness. We could kind of get through it quickly. We don't have to go too much. We'll be right back. we're back, and we're going to drop into Harrenhal from some grossness here. I don't know. Do we need to say any more? I'm fine not talking about this scene with Alicent and Daemon.
And Aemon,
Aemon, Daemon. So, well, that's interesting, right? Because they're doing this whole parallel thing with these Targaryen boys in Harrenhal, and all they want, these silly boys. And in Daemon's dream, didn't his mother say something similar to him, my best and truest son?
Yeah, I think so.
And he had a dream of being with his mother in bed as well. So, like, they're really overlapping these two. So I don't know, when we get to the Pantene Bowl, like, I'm gonna need some I need some resolution between these between uncle and nephew here. Interesting though, this whole Harrenhal dream and reality thing. Like, in Harrenhal you never really know
what's
if
real,
you're in a waking dream or not.
So, and it's very well done. The setting is creepy enough for it to be like a question, and it's just, they play it off very well. And I kind of said this last week, but I need Alice to do some witch shit. I'm sorry. I need the magic.
You need a abracadabra. You need a wand and a puff of light and smoke. And
give me something, please. Just give me something.
I never really read any of the Harry Potter, so I can't spout off any spell names from that book series. So it missed me. It was just, don't at me about the Harry Potter thing. I was just a little too old for it, and I know adults can enjoy it. I read the first book a long time ago, but anyway, don't at me. So Alicent, Aemon, and Alice. So let's talk about this whole funny little interesting situation. Alicent explains her journey, or the real Alicent. Will the real Alicent please step forward? Explains her journey and introduces Aemon to Sir Adrian, who gets shanked immediately. And then Alice and Aemon and Alicent share a meal together. Aemon reveals his plans to make Harrenhal his new seat of power and birthing a new line of unsullied kings. Alice and Aemon argue over the woodpile, and Alicent then hatches a desperate plan. Later, Alicent brings Aemon a chalice of poisoned wine, which is very, very Shakespearean of her. Very, very Hamlet. Go check out our Hamlet coverage from earlier this year. Alicia and I had some fun checking out the new Dev Patel interpretation of Hamlet. It was very good, by the way. Really enjoyed that. Poor Sir Adrian. Dude got shanked quick.
I mean, and his explanation is like, there are things that I can't show anybody who I don't trust.
Right? This is a top secret situation, and I don't know this dude, so.
Gotta go. And I had to respect it.
I had to watch the scene again. He has his hand on the sword, and he offers. So wait a second. Now I'm trying to recreate the scene in my scene. So he has his left hand on the sword. He puts it down. He offers his right hand to shake, and he uses his offhand to draw the dagger and stick him.
Very quickly.
So like it was really, really good play, because he's got to be right-handed. Is he right-handed? He's got to be right-handed because his sword is on his left hand side, because you got a crossbody draw. So, but anyway, he offered one hand and then stabbed him with the other hand. So that was like a really, really sweet move by Aemon. Like a really he sized up his enemy, figured out a little strategy, and made it happen. So. And then I love Alice just walking up, dinner time. And then the look between Alice and Aemon is just like, what the fuck is going on here?
Just another Tuesday, Mom.
Yeah, exactly. In Harrenhal.
Just another Tuesday.
A nice little trick, too. They, just when she says it's dinner time, then we jump to the dinner time in Tumbleton. But we're going to stay here in Harrenhal for a minute. But it was a nice little jump cut there. When Alice was talking about that there's a dark cloud around Alicent, I couldn't help but think about Rogue One when was it Chirrut was saying, "Oh yeah, there's a when somebody's going to kill, there's a dark cloud around the Force has a dark cloud around them." So, but I didn't pull the Rogue One clip, so I spared everybody a lot of time this week. But it made me think of that, Alice. Yeah, so it makes me question, like, what is Alice's power? How is she tapped in? She's
again. We need to see magic shit from her. Bottom line, if I don't get magic shit from Alice, I'm going to be pretty pissed off. I'm going to be very upset.
A couple other things. I just love the whole "you Targaryen boys, all you want is the same thing, don't you?" That was just very funny, and that obviously references the Daemon stuff. And so Alice's ploy here, she first tried to capture Daemon, but the tree gave him a vision of the prophecy, and he was like, "Nah, I'm out of here." So she's like, "Oh, bummer." But now, I got another Targaryen boy here.
And he's stupider.
Yeah, he's stupid. Yeah. So she's been about it this whole time, right? That's been her play. So, like, I think I'm going to have to renounce my allegiance to Alice. And,
really?
Yeah.
Why?
Because it's just so boring. Oh, you wanted some Targ babies and some dragon eggs, and I thought she was kind of this chaotic good force that was stirring the pot and sort of moving us forward towards the prophecy and ensuring the line of the prophecy. But it just feels like she's out for her own power ends, right?
Like everybody else.
Just like everybody else. It's kind of disappointing. I thought she was like connected with the old gods and the little dudes that live in the trees. I forget their names. You can at me about that if you want. And that she was just trying to move us move everybody in a general, herding the cats in a general direction. But yeah, it just seems like she's got designs like everybody else has got designs. So anyway, Alicent, when she goes to pull the dagger from Sir Adrian and she sees the flower.
Yeah.
That apparently is the nightshade, the deadly nightshade or whatever. And that's a callback. It's interesting. It's a whole callback to Helena being in the Godswood in King's Landing in the Red Keep and playing with her kid. And there was a caterpillar on the leaves. And it's like, that caterpillar eats that poisonous thing. So don't eat that. And then she has the caterpillar in a cage later. So Alicent has that in her mind, like, that plant is poisonous. And so that sort of is a whole inter-episode connection between Helena and Alicent poisoning her Helena's brother. Talk about a messed up family, man. Talk about Shakespearean. Like, this is some Shakespearean.
A messed up family, a messed up dinner. Just terrible. Mom's going to stay. Oh, is she? And then when he collapses at her feet after drinking the poison, stupid boy. Like, so funny. She saw the play way before it started, and she's like, "This dumbass, save this dumbass." So good. So even though it's creepy and gross in Harrenhal, there's some good lighthearted humor here. Speaking of comedies on the road, let's go over to Rook's Rest and Aegon, Larys, and Tyland. Out on the road, the trio encounters civilians fleeing the advancing army of House Mouton. They turn back to seek shelter in Rook's Rest, and but then they find another part of that army in front of them, so they decide to make a last stand, and Larys pieces out. Real quick note, House Mouton is seated at Maidenpool, which is northwest of Rook's Rest. And it's a vassal of House Tully. And Maidenpool is a big trading port, very rich city, big walled town, very important. And so it sounds like Mouton is on the march. So we need a new chit on the table there to track those guys. I mean, some of them got burned, but I'm assuming that still most of that army is intact.
This is all just kind of basic setup to get Aegon his dragon back. So once they're confronted, we hear the T-Rex stomping in the background as Aegon has his mad little power trip moment, and Dracarys is the mutant army. What did you make of this whole scenario here?
Yeah, it was fine for what it was. I'm happy that we get to see that Aegon has not changed.
Right.
Because
he's a little bit more insane even.
Yes. So I was very happy for that development to show out that all the supposed growth and that he's done on this journey.
Little wisdom.
Yeah, none of that is real. Because as soon as Sunfire was back, looking half-faced, I felt bad for Sunfire. I'm like, oh, man.
I like that attention to detail, though.
Yeah, definitely.
Because that was the side of face that was in the dirt and down in there and mauled up and everything. And so look at all snaggletooth
and all of that.
Yeah, it was great.
I just said, as soon as he turned around, Sunfire. Turned back around, Dracarys. And it was, everything that he wanted. This is all that he wanted.
And then he has that little maniacal laugh at the end.
Yes. So, yeah, Aegon is exactly who I thought he was. And nothing has changed for that boy. The Burnt King remains the Burnt King. I don't know whether Larys will suffer at Aegon's hand for abandoning him.
He gave him...
Yes, I know he gave him the okay. But now that Sunfire is back, does that okay still stand?
Good question.
You didn't stay by my side. The only one who did was Tyland. And Tyland was smart. He heard that Dracarys, he got down on the knee. He bent the knee immediately.
Real quick.
He bent the knee. Let me get out of the way of this dragon fire. So, yeah, I think it was a good way.
Again, interesting, like if we parallel Aegon with Rhaenyra and having...
Unwilling to do that.
What's that?
Who's unwilling at this point to put others in harm's way.
Right. But if we parallel the two, right, the queen and the king here, and their two advisors, right? You've got Larys on one shoulder and Tyland on the other. And with Rhaenyra, we have Daemon and Mysaria on the other shoulder. Just interesting how different people are talking in the ear of power and getting them to, do this. Just so Aegon was like, okay, cool, let's go to Braavos, right? You, Larys, are speaking truth to power here. You're speaking to me. You're not infantilizing me. You're not being obsequious. You're saying it like it is. Like, okay, I like that. But then when the time comes to throw down, you nope out. So what do I make of you? Where Tyland, who is kind of a bit of a bootlicker, at least he's got the spine to stand by my side with his sword drawn and go down swinging with every last breath that he had. Mm-hmm. So that's just an interesting juxtaposition between the two little creatures sitting on his shoulders. I don't think there's a one-to-one with Daemon and Mysaria, but it's just interesting when, who's in the orbit of the person who has power. And again, meditations on power. Aegon has the legitimate trappings of power. He was anointed in the Sept of Baelor, right? He by the High Septon, and he has a dragon, right? So he has power, and he has people who are fighting in the kingdom actively for the restoration of his rule.
Right.
So he has power, and he is unworthy of that power. And his
restoration of his line.
Yeah.
Because, the guy, I wonder if Ormond were to hear of Aegon,
interesting.
right? What would be the thought process here?
Because there's no way Aegon and Ormond are getting along. Those two are going to clash the moment they lock eyes on each other.
What's the thought process?
What's that?
I said, what's the thought process? What would Ormond's thought process be?
He'd be like, this guy is undisciplined, untrained, unstudied. He's a power-hungry little mongrel who just wants to, like, if you look at Aegon's history, like being, you know, how many bastards has he sired down in Flea Bottom? You know, in the fighting, you know, the kids in the fighting pits, all that stuff, the way that he treats his staff,
right?
You know, raping his domestic servants, wielding the dragon, you know, like, okay, yeah, you know, blow your enemies away, fine, but then he's like maniacal about it, right?
Has the white hair. All things
right, and he's tainted, right? He's tainted by the blood. He's a pure blood Targaryen. And because Aegon is clearly anti-intellectual, like he, you know, where Ormond is like, study the histories, know the patterns, you know, be able to quote the scripture, whatever, right? You know, you have to be intellectual and think about and understand the history of this realm to rule it.
Everything Ormond is doing right now is to have a puppet on the throne.
Exactly.
Everything he's doing.
Yeah.
So now that Aegon is back, and if he hears of this before the battle, what are the calculations that he makes?
He's got to be able to sing that song and dance to say that we thought you were dead. And so we were just taking the next, you know, you weren't around, your brother wasn't around, so we had to take your next brother and put him, like, we were just trying to preserve the family
his face
line.
under coins.
That's going to be a hard one to sell. I'm not saying it's going to be easy. I don't think Ormond would have an easy go of it. But that's what are you going to do? Or you now have to delegitimize Aegon in some way.
Right. And which
that's going to get messy.
Cannot.
Because Aegon was legitimately anointed by the Septon, by the Hightower's own religion that they sponsor. And
he has a dragon and is not going to use the dragon.
Right. He's very happy to use this dragon.
Yes.
So, yeah, this is an interesting scene now that we are unpacking a little bit more. It's a little bit more interesting. I mean, I'm glad Aegon has his dragon back, even though the setup for it was a little Deus Ex Machina, right? Like, okay, like what's going to happen here? Oh, the dragon comes out of the woods, all right?
Yeah.
He unsheathes his sword, and then the moment that he takes his sword out, we hear the stomping of the dragon in the woods in the dark. Okay. But it was still cool to see Sunfire. You know.
And again, goes back to what I said earlier in the bond between dragons and dragon riders, because Sunfire tracked them down.
Mm-hmm. That dragon Wi-Fi.
Dragon Wi-Fi.
And Sunfire just didn't come in raging and just burning up the forest and, you know, whatever. Came in and like, hey,
I'm back.
I'm right behind you. Oh, you want me to Dracarys? Okay, yeah. Dracarys. No problem.
Like, I'm right behind you. You're okay.
Yeah.
What we doing?
Yeah. Oh, we're lighting these guys up. All right. Okay. I got it. Cool.
That's what we do.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And this whole episode, we've seen a lot of dragon and dragon rider interaction,
bonding. Right?
Yeah, and the extent of control and connectivity, which is
that
also
not everyone has.
Which is also why I don't necessarily buy Rhaenyra leaving so easily on the back of Syrax.
Yes,
like giving that up so easily.
Like, if I'm her, you're gonna have to kill me.
Yeah,
at this point. You're going to have to kill me on the spot at this point, because I'm not leaving my dragon.
And my dragon is not leaving me.
Which is why my dragon is fighting.
Yeah. And when Cyrax took off, like Sheepy didn't take off immediately. Well, you know what? We can argue.
No, but Sheepy was, preoccupied. They jumped him.
It's true. And yeah. So anyway, okay. Right. Anything else in this? Otherwise, we can jump to Tumbleton and wrap it up.
Yeah.
Cool. So, as we mentioned before, we see the scenes of the Riverland host on the march with Crispy Cole's head on a pike.
Oh.
And they're delicious. We need some artists out there in Listenerland to like make an Andy Warhol. You know, the multicolor print, the 4x thing. I forget what that one's called. Like, you got to have Cole's face on a t-shirt like that. I think that'd be sweet. And then G-Wayne arrives back at Tumbleton to report in. So they've crossed the Blackwater Rush and they've got 20,000 men. So it's a little update, about a day and a half's march from Tumbleton. So they're on the way. One of the things that G-Wayne's ride through the city is kind of an exposition dump for us because we see signs of the city prepping, right? We see defenses being put into place, baskets of arrows being carried around, like little mini ballistas being set up. So that's like a little exposition dump to let us know for next week. We got a battle coming in. And there was an interesting little thing. G-Wayne does a real slick dismount move off his horse.
He did.
Dude, he's my guy. I think I'm going to have to, like, I don't want to be a green supporter, but like, I'm down with G-Wayne, man. I don't know. I'd be in his army.
I don't know, man. I got some high towers, boy.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. That's, but if we want to talk about cult of personality, I'm with G-Wayne here.
Right.
But anyway, there's this touch of emotion as Ormond says something about like, oh, your buddy and his little, muddy escapades or whatever. And then we don't do a full close up on G-Wayne's face, but we see him in profile and he's kind of, he has an emotion, a little emotional moment there. I thought it was interesting. I don't know if you caught that.
I didn't pick that up.
Okay.
So on my second, I didn't watch it a second time yet. So I'll see by Thursday. I'll see. So then we got dinner time in Tumbleton, and we got Ormond and Darren entertain Lord Corlys at dinner, and then later Gawain and Darren compare notes. And I've got a couple of audio clips here. So let's grab this first one right quick.
If you have finished with your instructions.
What do you see in them anyway? The Targaryen element. You're a traveled man. You've seen the world's wonders. Why limit yourself in tedious alliance to the brutish and the incurious? Your wife, of course, was of their blood. That ended all too predictably. I would think, after having seen how they devour one of their own.
I would like to return to my cell.
As you please.
So we got Ormond here trying to manipulate and sort of speak honey words to Corlys. But again, he's advancing this theory that the Targaryens are these white-haired freaky invaders that don't belong in Westerosi lands. But the Valerians come from the same place, so I'm not sure how far that goes.
Right. I just think he's underestimating who Corlys is.
Right.
And once he brought up Rhaenys, the conversation was basically over.
That was a bad miscalculation, wasn't it?
Yeah. The comment, there was nothing. There's no coming back from that. No.
Interesting too when Ormond is, saying, "Oh well, with you here, that means your men are going to be less likely to help stabilize King's Landing because they owe allegiance to you. You're not there, so." But what he's also not factoring is Adam. Alan. Damn it, I did it again.
Alan, who's proved himself in battle.
And I think is commanding a lot of personal loyalty from the men.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. He's not someone who has just been placed here, right?
Right.
Where they could question. They know that, Corlys gave him the position, yes, but he's proved himself capable. And
he's earned their loyalty and their trust.
Ormond is not ready for this.
Right.
He's not ready for that.
He doesn't have, and all the while, Alan is plucking Ormond's eyes out from him in King's Landing because he's taking out his network. And if he's smart, if we actually had a good master of whisperers, what we'd actually be doing is doing counterintelligence and sending bad information back to Ormond. But Masari is a little bit too busy. Trying to wedge Daemon. So, but Corlys does track the tension between Darren and Ormond.
Yes. And that goes to show you why his absence from the small council is so great.
Mm-hmm.
Because he was immediately able to track. Like, this is someone who's seasoned.
This is what's frustrating about Corlys, because if Corlys actually was engaged the way his talent and experience and wisdom is phenomenal. His personal charisma, his ability to lead, his ability to foresee things and figure out these plots. But he's too caught up with his own pride and ego.
Yeah, because he's a shitty father. He was a shitty husband. You know what I'm saying? And the best thing he could do now, he's not doing because he's butthurt over his own shittiness.
Right. All right, I got another audio. Oh, wait, real quick before I got this other audio clip. Corlys drops this line, pigeon pie. What is this? Some pigeon pie. Wasn't Joffrey poisoned by pigeon pie? Or he had pigeon pie just before he drank, or I can't remember this.
So.
Yeah.
I have to go back, which I don't want to do, David.
Yeah, I'm not making nobody do that. But it's not season 8, so it's okay, right? It's earlier on. But apparently, when I was digging around on the internet a little bit too, apparently the 4 and 20 blackbirds baked in a pie, that old children's nursery rhyme, apparently was an inspiration for Gurm to fold the pigeon pie into the purple wedding scene, and like that's like so there's a direct connection there from real world nursery rhymes into Gurm's writing and into back through and into this. So if anybody else has any lines on that particular aspect, that would be cool to hear more about it. But here's this other clip. This is Gawain and Darren talking.
I'm supposed to be the king. What sort of ruler am I? Am I to sit by, impotent, while a madman offers us up for the slaughter? And all of our men with us.
Seems there's no escaping it. The dream somehow of covering themselves in everlasting glory. Somehow transcending humanity's common fate.
So this line really struck me because, as I said, my daughter and I have been watching the Tom Hanks World War II series. And when we just finished it, all 20 episodes last night. We spaced it out obviously over multiple weeks. But when you get to the last couple of episodes where the German and the Japanese forces are sort of on their knees and buckling, and neither of their rulers, or the people in power, are willing to give up, and they're willing to take their whole countries down. This line about can I say the word I can't say it now, Mike.
I'm not going to do it.
That when you have these people who are so hell-bent, and then people give them power by doing what they say. So here we are, you and me, Darren and G-Wayne, we're watching this maniacal man lead us into ruin, and none of us can stop it because why? Because he has some sort of legitimacy of power, the trappings of power. We've given him power. He's the head of the family. He's got blah, blah, blah. But he's going to take us down this very dark road. Kristen Cole did the same thing, right? How many rulers in Westeros, same thing. These egocentric people. And look around today, right? Why is the world why are we going through certain things in this world? Because of the egos of certain, mostly men. Let's just call it straight. Who have these egos that are uncontrollable. And yet we continue to give them power to the detriment of humanity's overall fate.
Definitely. And when I heard the line, I immediately thought Cole, because that's what he just left. Right?
Yeah.
He just left this, person who was willing to kill everyone.
Yeah.
Just to get his name written about and songs sung about him. So I think G. Wayne at this moment was very cognizant of that fact. What frustrates me with the two of them is that out of the three, I'm talking about Daemon, G. Wayne, Ormond, only one of them is presumed to be sitting on the Iron Throne. Right?
Yeah.
And Ormond has so grinded them down that they don't even recognize that. The power that holds.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
At any moment.
They all call him sire, right? All the guards bow their heads to him, everything.
So.
And he's got a dragon.
But they're so ground down by Ormond, so fearful of
him,
so cowed by him, abused by him, that they don't even recognize their own strength. And that's the sad part of it.
And all the while, Ormond just gathers more power and more power and more power, and no one can seemingly stop him.
Right.
When all it would take is a couple of people going,
no,
nah.
Yeah.
But then we end up in a Caesar situation, right? Like, oh, okay, well, hey, Caesar's gotten too much power, so we're all going to stab him in the back. Where does that go, right? Like, I'm not saying there's a right answer here. I'm not saying there's but
I am saying there's a right answer. It gets you out of the current predicament.
Right.
It gets your men not slaughtered.
Right. It gets the small folk from being, ruined and destroyed, and their lives destroyed.
Not having to be rebuilt.
Yeah.
So there is a right answer here. They're just unable to see it because of the abuse that off screen has happened in their lives. And, that's sobering.
Yeah. Yeah. Power. Yeah. Right? Who has power and how do they wield it? And then how do we relate to that power?
Who has power and who has the flashing of power? Who has the appearance of power?
Yeah.
Ormond
what do we do to
powerful.
Give that to him?
Yes. Oh, he's only powerful because they refuse to recognize their own.
Right, and we could look at certain political institutions in certain countries and say, well, they certainly don't want to. They're certainly happy to go along with where the power is right now.
Right.
When they're actually set up to check that power.
Absolutely.
Explicitly, job is check the power.
and yet they behave as if they have none.
Right.
And this is where we see G. Wayne and Daemon.
Right.
Behaving as if they have no agency. They have no power. They
that's
have
a good
no
insight,
capability to change things. And out of every, I've said the word agency a few times. Out of all the people who can have agency but are not recognizing that they can, these two are closer to that reality than anyone else. And they are incapable because of what they've gone through. I don't want to diminish, their experiences, what I believe their experiences to have been living with Ormond. But yeah, as you're saying these things, Daemon and G. Wayne, as you're lamenting the fact that he's going to get a whole lot of people killed, the question should not be well, what can we do? And then the answer is nothing. That's weak.
Right.
Because you can do something.
You have power.
You have power. You are the would-be king who has a dragon. G-Wayne's men would follow him.
Hmm.
He's fought battles. They may not all follow him, but he would find people who would follow him.
And he's a good fighter.
And he's a good fighter. So, yeah.
Yeah, everybody called it out very early on when we saw that scene of Sarion. We were like, Aaron, you got a dragon, man. Just Jakrar's the right, just Jakrar's the right direction.
Right person. Yeah, that's it. You could have Jakrar's the whole room in that moment.
Yeah.
And walked out. Head held high. I had to do it. And no one would have said peep.
All right. Well, we got another bit of a pyromaniac over here with Ulf, who's excited to let everybody burn. A little transactional power here with Ormond offering Driftmark. Hey, I give you this, you give me that.
Yes.
Now, Ulf thinks he has power in this situation. And yeah, there's a promise of a keep and whatnot. But Ormond isn't, I don't think, stupid enough to understand that Ulf is A, going to be satisfied ultimately in the long term, and B, you can't let a guy like Ulf be running around with the dragon after he's done what you need him to get done for you.
Right. Ulf is, like I said, man, Ulf should have been nowhere near a dragon.
A dragon.
We said it before, and we'll say it now. Nowhere. This is one of the biggest mistakes that Rhaenyra has made. And the open call for dragon riders, I understood it, but you have to have some sort of, there has to be a process other than, well, the dragon didn't burn him, so it's all good. You know what I mean? There has to be some sort of checklist. And
well, there was no sort of, dare I say, I don't want to say moral education, but they like, oh, this is a knight. You're a knight now. You're in service. This is how you do. You know, like there was no, I mean, before we put a pilot into a jet, a $30 million jet, and give him a bunch of missiles, we spend a lot of time training that person in a lot of other things beyond just how do you fly this airplane.
Right. You have to have the right mental capacity to do the job.
Right. And the command and control, like I'm going to do what the orders are. I'm going to hold myself up to a particular standard of behavior. I have a certain set of values and principles that I'm executing on.
And this is in no way a defense of how he's been treated. Because
he's been treated bad.
Yeah, he's been treated horribly by,
reinforcing all the wrong lessons.
All the wrong lessons. But again, there has to be some sort of process where you can look at a candidate and say, yeah, even though it might work, I don't think so.
Yeah.
And that was not done for the Dragon Riders. And again, this is to our detriment. Right.
Short-sighted decisions here, or decisions in these exigent circumstances.
Yeah.
And again, Ulf could have been okay if you had that context around him to build him up and correct and to guide and like, oh, you want to go hang and you want to drink with your buddies? Look, invite your bros here. You guys can, you can hang out down in the where the soldiers have their meals. We'll throw you a little party. Right. Or whatever. Right. But you don't smack him, openly in the street and threaten to cut his throat in front of all the other small folk.
In front of the people that he's trying to impress.
Right.
And who knows, even if you had done those things, I still think the character of if he was promised Driftmark would have still
accepted. Right. It may be a little too late for Ulf. He may still be he may be a little set in his ways.
Yes. Yes.
So obviously they've had more than one meeting, which I love. I love the way they're like, well, the last time we met, I was like, oh, okay, great. Perfect amount of exposition set up there. So like this whole scene was like brilliant, all the way down to the incense burners.
Yeah.
The big sticks, right? Like Set Deck like won the day with those. That was awesome.
The thing that I take away from this scene is the utter disdain that Ulf doesn't see on Ormond's face.
Right.
He's so caught up.
Yeah. And the flattery and the transactional.
Yeah. He doesn't see the utter disdain that Ormond has for him.
Yeah.
Which is so clear. It's like a star at night.
And the sticks of incense are even like a beacon of that, right? Like I can't even stand the smell of you, let alone
the sight.
Yeah.
Let alone to have this conversation that we have. And Ulf is just, let them burn. I'll burn everybody.
Yeah, he was like an evil little gremlin when he said that. I was like, oh my God. This
very
dude's whacked. Cool. All right. Well, I think that's the episode. Any other closing thoughts?
Nah, just again, I hope this next episode is extra large because...
A quick note about next episode as well. We're taking our last hurrah of the summer next week. So I'm going to be on the road, but I have my mobile recording gear. So it could be, but where we are on Monday and Tuesday, I have to I got to carve out some time. You and I have to I'm still in the same time zone. We're just going to be up visiting some family in Maine. Yeah, so we're going to have to play it a little bit by ear. So just let everybody know, especially if it's a supersized episode, you might, hang tight, make sure, but we'll get it covered.
We'll get it to you.
Yeah. And then we'll have to see about the feedback and how we want to do that. If Alicia wants to get in on some conversation, I don't know. I don't think John's been able to keep up with the show this season because he's been busy. He's got a bunch of stuff going on. But we're definitely at some point going to hop back over to the Dungeons and Do-Rags, hang out with those fellas for a minute, and have some conversations about the season overall as well. So that's the plan. Feedback this week, Thursday. So get your feedback in and voicemails, Patreon messages, Discord messages, HOTD@thelorehounds.com. Email and voicemails are really the best. It's a lot of work for Nancy to go through the Discord and pluck anything out, even though there's gems in there all the time. But hit us up on the email. And I think that's it. Supergirl is coming. I think Odyssey is still coming. We got a lot in the hopper.
Spider-Man Brand New Day is coming.
Oh, dude, man, did it break records?
We didn't. It broke records. We're going to see it tomorrow.
Nice.
So I've stayed away from the spoilery stuff, even though I probably know what they are, but still, I've not been engaging with anyone. So, but after tomorrow, my embargo will have been lifted.
Nice. Very cool. Well, it's, I'm glad man, this is a big year for movies. It's crazy.
Big year.
I think John and I are going to try to do some short form coverage of Ted Lasso, do something like half an hour, sub 30-minute episodes where we just talk about 2-3 things that we liked from the episode, sort of get in, get out real quick. And we've got a bunch of other things. We just got to let summer settle down and then get clicked back in. Check out Silo on the Woolshift Dust podcast. Make sure to go check out Dungeons and Do-Rags, our latest affiliate. And of course, Nevermind the Music are turning it over. And then Cosmere Corner. John, if you're into the books and in the Sanderson books, John's got that new feed. Again, link in the show notes goes to all our stuff. If you're on Apple for your podcast listening, we have a channel and all of our things should be in that channel. Or you can always hit us up on our website too, lorehounds.com. And then that has a steady feed of all the affiliates and all the main feed stuff. So check us out over there. Quick shout out to our community volunteers, Hand of the Pod, Nancy, Master of the Polls, Captain of Polhiram, Peter O.H., Keeper of the Show Tracker, Sub-Zero, our Librarian, Brian8063, and our moderators on the Discord, Brian8063 and Aaron K. Discord server boosters, Aaron K, Tiller the Thriller, Duve71, Athena Ajalea, Lestu, Nancy M, Ghost of Partition, Radioactive Richard, and Adrian. And our lore master, top tier subscribers, Samartian, Michael G, Michelle E, SC, Peter O.H, Nancy M, Duve71, Brian8063, Frederick H, Sarah L, Gareth C, Andra B, Kwang Yu, Nathan T, Sub-Zero, Aaron K, Dally V, Gnarls, Kathy W, Lestu, Jeffrey B, Elisa U, Ben B, Scott F, Stephen N, Julia F, Cully S, Il Mariel, Rocky Zim, Jessica A, Red Zippy, the TCS, LNR, Mrs. Tennant, AC Wilson, Eli W, Cassie K, Chumba Rooney, Katilla, Josh Liu, Paint in PDX, Corey G, Quinch, Jeannie L, Slavinator, and forever last, but never least, Adrian. Thank you all so very much for your subscriptions. Literally could not do it without you. Jean?
Yeah, man.
Justice for Sheepy.
Justice for Sheepy.
We out.
Thank you for listening to The Lorehounds. Please send any questions and feedback to lorehounds@thelorehounds.com or hotd@thelorehounds.com, and check out our Supercast and Patreon feeds for ad-free access and bonus episodes. Look out for all of those links, including links to all other podcasts in our network, in the link tree in the show notes. Any opinions stated are ours personally and do not reflect the opinion of or belong to any employers or other entities.